Well, this is something that I'm pretty sure a lot of people knew was inevitable, but apparently Nintendo and the Pokemon Company has decided to take legal action against the developer of Palworld Pocket Fair, and this is due to the fact that the game has been a massive success since its release earlier in 2024, and the fact that this is a game that seemingly um, it seemingly has, I wouldn't say stolen, but like the characters and the creatures in the game look very similar to that of Pokemon, and that's something that some people agree with and others disagree with. But I'm pretty sure, Nintendo and Pokemon Company feel like that Pocket Fair has pretty much made money off of their intellectual property, and I believe the suit was something that it entered the Tokyo District Court, today on September 18th, and pretty much the suit seeks an injunction against the defendants and compensation for damages alleged that the game Power World developed and sold by the defendants infringes on multiple patients, and yeah, there's been a lot of controversy surrounding Power World since its release. And at the same time, it's something that people have gone, crazy about because it's pretty much like it feels like an action adventure, like shooter, Pokemon type of game. It's something that a lot of people feel like Pokemon should have eventually became, instead of staying in the kiddie phase and appealing, mainly to children and all that stuff. And I'm pretty sure that when this game first came out, a lot of people really didn't expect it to have the type of success that it did. Hell, I didn't expect to have the type of success that it did. And the thing about this game is that it had a massive budget of around like $6.7 million, and honestly, like, I feel like this game ended up being one of the more popular video games that we got to see in 2024, and I believe like right after it came out around like January or whatever, it had like 19 million players at one point. I'm not exactly sure how many players it has now, but it's been really, really popular, and I believe it was also reported back in January that had made over like 150 million on Steam alone, and that I think it sold like somewhere around or over 20 million copies. And honestly, Power World is really one of the more popular PC games that we've seen in a very, very long time. And I feel like it's one of those things where, it wouldn't bother Nintendo or Pokemon Company if it didn't have the type of success that it did. It probably would have flew under the radar and have been whatever. But now Nintendo and Pokemon Company's looking at that and they're like, hey, you owe us some of that money because you basically we provided the inspiration for you guys to make that, and it's practically like it's like practically like our ideas but slightly different. But then people could kind of go and say the same thing about Nintendo because I believe Nintendo Switch was influenced by something else, and there was like some type of controversy before its launch that it stole the design from like another company or something like that. But I don't know. I feel like Nintendo was able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the Switch was their idea and they were allowed to kind of roll with it or whatever. But when it comes down to like IPs and stuff like that, Nintendo's very tight with all that stuff, and I believe Nintendo had recently got like this emulator thing shut down not too long ago, and like because like emulator developers pretty much have been trying to pirate like Switch games and stuff like that, and that's something that Nintendo wasn't happy about. And um and, th- and this was something that happened not too long ago, like within the year. So the Switch emulator, Yuzu, had to shut down because they didn't want to have any type of legal issues with Nintendo or anything like that. And Especially considering the fact that Nintendo plans on, releasing the Switch 2 next year. It's like, yeah, we want to still make as much money off the Switch console as we possibly can. And the thing is, like, Nintendo, I don't think will let you even get away with like, pirating like even older games from like the NES and the SNES days. So like they're really like cracking down on all that stuff. And I guess the reason why people like try to, use emulation for stuff like that is because they want Nintendo to remake some of their older games that they're obviously never going to remake because they're always trying to move forward. There are certain games that Nintendo have remade from the past. Like recently, they remade the Super Mario RPG game that came out last year in 2023, and that's something that kind of fell on the radar. But they do remakes every once in a while, and Pokemon in general is still like popular. It's not quite on the same level as it was during like the late 90s, early 2000s, or even the early teens to some extent, but Pokemon is still a household name, and they like to keep their IPs tight and everything like that. So, yeah, I mean, I think this whole thing with Palworld Entertainment is kind of crazy, and the fact that Pocket Fair is like going through this with Nintendo and Pokemon Company is insane as well. I'm not sure if it's one of those deals where Nintendo and Pokemon Company is eventually going to get a settlement outside of horror or whatever. But the thing is, with all that money that they've made, it's like that's something that's definitely going to, catch, people's attention. It's something that people are going to talk about, and it's something that, Nintendo is going to, come after eventually. And the thing is, Power World in general, I feel like is one of those games that has like the potential to have a cult following, all of that. But with all this added, controversy and whatever, we have no idea how long it's going to last. We don't know if it's going to eventually be something that's going to get discontinued or shut down or whatever. But yeah, a lot of people feel like this is something that Nintendo or Pokemon Company should have done like quite some time, and honestly, like Power World is probably the closest thing to I guess like a T rated or a yeah like a T rated Pokemon game that we're going to get, in the sense where it's pretty much similar to that of Pokemon, but it's very different and has like a modern day like twist to it, and yeah, like it's something that was pretty cool in like theory, and in practice it's still something that's cool, but it's something that doesn't necessarily go over too well with a lot of people. And the fact that Nintendo was sending cease and desist letters to fans who posted like fan artwork of Power World, like after that it's like you knew at some point Nintendo was eventually going to go after Pocket Fair for Power World. And yeah, this is something that this is something that is like an ongoing process. The whole thing just started today, um, in Tokyo District Court, and we have no idea, what the outcome's going to be or how long this is going to go on. We're most likely going to get more updates on this as time goes by. Throughout the rest of the year and into like 2015 and throughout 2015 and all that stuff. But yeah, this is something that I didn't wake up and expect to, read on the news on this particular day or anything like that. But yeah, I find like this is like really interesting to say at the very least, and we have no idea what's going to come of this. So hopefully we'll have more details about all this um, within the next couple of months or so.